talk to anybody who's wealthy. You know, you're watching what's his name? Is it Peter Jones on Dragon's Den?
Yes. Yeah.
And he says, you know, with all the companies, and he's an extremely wealthy man, he says, I have to get 2 weeks away by myself in a shed somewhere. It's a nice shed, by the way. It's probably in the Maldives or somewhere. But because my life is so stressful that, you know, I wouldn't be able to live. And people imagine Peter Jones's life as, you know, somebody's driving around in big cars and he doesn't do an awful lot and the money's just attracted to him. No, he's working even at his age now. He's constantly. Elon Musk sleeps on his floor in the office, and he's one of the richest men in the world. Doesn't go home. Doesn't have time to go home. There's a price to be paid.
Absolutely. And you know what? There was another rich guy, I can't remember his name, but he was a Japanese businessman and one of the wealthiest men in Japan. And I read that, you know, because of he's not extravagant, he gets the train to work like everyone else. And he goes into the office with everyone, catches the elevator with everyone to his office floor. And he's the CEO of this big corporation. Can't remember the name of the guy now, but again, just to show the wealthiest, you know, they don't live like how people think wealthy people live, you know, not extravagant.
Well, no, because when we have no money, we like to look wealthy. We like to look successful. So we'll buy ourselves the trappings of wealth. You know, we'll get a nice German car and we'll get some branded clothes and we'll strut around and to all intents and purposes, to our friends, we look wealthy, but the reality is we're not. But when you have wealth, there's no need to display it because you have nobody to impress. That's why the guy travels the world. Doesn't need to get a good big car to drive him in there, so people look at him and say, "Oh, look at him." And past that, once you've got the financial independence and once you've got the money, it's no longer about showing off. It's about enjoying it and relaxing, and that's what the financial independence brings to you. It's the no worries. Your problems, let's say, we all go through life with problems, but you know you don't have any financial problems, as he doesn't, and so he has no reason to be ostentatious and say. And peacock it around and say, look at me, I'm this guy. Doesn't need to. He doesn't have that ego anymore. Doesn't need it.
Absolutely. And the ego definitely plays a big part of it, doesn't it? A lot of people that I've certainly seen around myself before will get paid and they'll have nothing to show for it but like the clothes they're wearing on their body. And no one actually cares. Like, oh, was that a Ralph Lauren polo? Oh, that's nice. And that'll be it. That's it. And they've paid, 80 quid for a T-shirt just to have that instant gratification. Like, I don't think it's so pointless.
There was one time, again, I was being stupid in the past. I'd started a business and I thought, well, you know, if I'm a businessman, I should look like I'm successful. So I remember I forget the actual numbers now, but I bought a 3 Series BMW, which I traded in about 2 months later because I could only get one set of golf clubs in the back, so I needed something bigger, you know. So I got a 5 Series BMW, and I think the finances work something like this. I think it was about 300 quid a month for the finance. I think the freaking insurance was about 200 quid a month. The fuel was about 100 quid a week in it. But and I reckon that if I'd taken the money I'd spent on that car and invested it, I think I did the sums. I would have had £360,000 when I retired. You know, and I just tell myself that if it had been in the car showroom, and instead of having £15,000, which is what it said on the windscreen, it had £360,000, I'd have ran a mile. There's no way is that car worth £360,000. But that's effectively what it lost me if I continued spending my money and wasting my money in those ways by, you know, buying stupid things that I couldn't afford just to impress people I didn't even like. So you know, don't do that anymore.